Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at an idea that could totally flip the script on one of the most personal and high-stakes moments in our lives, getting a diagnosis.
So let's just jump right into it. What if an AI could run your entire medical diagnosis from start to finish? And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's actually the core question from a major new research paper that's proposing a pretty radical shift in how doctors and artificial intelligence could work together.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a huge deal, we first have to talk about the problems we're facing right now with how diagnoses are made.
And here's the biggest one. Get this. Even with all the incredible training our doctors go through, the clinical misdiagnosis rate is still hovering around a staggering 20%. Think about that for a second. That's 1 in 5 diagnoses that might be wrong. That number alone tells you we desperately need a better way.
And this slide really gets to the heart of the problem, right? You've got the physician on one side, basically an overloaded director trying to piece together this incredibly complex puzzle, often starting with just a vague complaint from a patient. And then on the other side, you've got our current AI. For all its power, it's really just a limited assistant. It can't drive the process. It can only answer specific questions when you feed it perfect, structured data.
So this is where it gets really interesting. The researchers behind this paper looked at that whole setup and asked a simple but profound question. What if we just flipped that script completely? And this timeline shows you exactly what they mean. You know, in the past, it was all on the doctor. They handled the whole thing alone. Right now, we're in this AI-assisted phase where AI helps with some tasks, but the doctor is still very much in the driver's seat. But this new era they're talking about, it's AI-directed. The AI is the one leading the charge, and it only asks the physician for help when it truly needs it. So this brings us to this brand new idea, the reverse physician-AI relationship. It's a model where the AI acts as the main director of the whole diagnostic process, and the physicians, they become these highly skilled assistants, stepping in to do the physical, hands-on tasks, like an actual physical exam, that an AI, just can't do.
All right, so how would this thing actually work in the real world? Well, the researchers didn't just theorize. They built an AI to test it, and they call it DX Director. Now, DX Director thinks differently from other models. It's built to manage the entire journey. It all starts with just a patient's vague complaint, nothing technical, just my stomach hurts. From there, it does what the researchers call deep thinking. It's kind of like our own slow, careful reasoning process. It analyzes everything to figure out the single best next step. And only then does it issue tasks, either asking itself questions to dig up more knowledge or asking a physician for help with a physical test. It keeps going until it reaches a final comprehensive diagnosis.
And this quote here gives you a perfect feel for its internal logic. You can almost hear it thinking, right? The patient's symptoms could suggest multiple conditions, so it decides it needs to rule out the most critical ones first. And then, bam, it issues a clear, direct instruction. Physician, please perform a physical examination of the abdomen. It's not just spitting out an answer, it's actively leading the investigation.
Okay, so the theory is absolutely revolutionary. But the big question is, does it actually work? How did this new AI director do when it went head-to-head with other powerful AIs and, maybe most importantly, with human experts?
Well, the results are kind of staggering. They tested it on these incredibly complex clinical cases from the super prestigious New England Journal of Medicine. And get this, DX Director wasn't just more accurate than giant models like GPT-4o, it actually surpassed the diagnostic accuracy of human physicians working on the very same problems. That is a huge deal.
And what's maybe even more mind-blowing is how efficient it was. It got that superior accuracy while only needing the physician to perform, on average, just 3 clinical operations per case. So this isn't just about being more accurate, it's about radically cutting down the doctor's workload. And when you zoom in and look at specific departments, the advantage becomes even more stark. I mean, in super complex fields like neurosurgery and oncology, areas where you have to pull together lots of different tests and data, DX Director just blew the next best AI out of the water.
So you take all this data together, and it really starts to paint a picture of a future that could be fundamentally different for doctors, for patients, for the entire healthcare system, really. In fact, the research suggests that in some fields, like cardiovascular medicine, this AI's diagnostic work is so good that it could stand in for a human specialist in up to 75% of cases. Just think about that for a second. Imagine what that could mean for giving people all over the world access to top-tier diagnostic expertise.
So when you boil it all down, this new model brings a whole wave of benefits. It boosts accuracy while slashing the physician's workload. It creates this super transparent, step-by-step record, which is great for accountability. And maybe biggest of all, it offers a low-cost, scalable solution that could bring expert-level diagnosis to way more people than ever before.
All this research really forces us to ask a pretty profound question. It's not really a matter of if AI is going to be part of our medical care anymore. It's about how central its role is going to be. I mean, is it possible that the next time you see a specialist, that specialist could be an AI?